record and then I'm going to start this. Can everybody hear me? Perfect. So this month, March, things are coming pretty quick. It's kind of the wrap up of all of our state convention applications. It's the start of our district CDE meetings or district CDE contest. It's going to be a busy month. We also have we have a lot to go through. So we know that yesterday was the due date for all state degrees. If your student's name wasn't on that list that Miss Samantha sent out, and you feel like there's an error, you need to contact her. If you wait past probably today, it will not, you will not be able to change that. On Friday, March 6th, that's the deadline application. So state talent, state band, what other ones? Help me. NomCom, Courtesy Corps, Audit Committee, all of those. Oh yeah, state officer candidates, the big one. They're all due Friday. So if, American Degree is Friday. State Stars, all of them, except for National Chapter Form 2. But you do have time if you have an Ag Science Fair kiddo. Those are due March 15th. And then the FFA scholarship application is due March 15th. I was going to show you where that is in case you didn't know. So if you go to the Arkansas FFA website, get off this part. You just go to the association, you'll scroll down, and right under LDEs is Arkansas FFA scholarships. It has the due date, March 15th. Our biggest piece of advice is if you want a student to do well in this, literally there's a sample paper and it tells you exactly how to fill it out, what the wordage would be like, what does it look like to talk about size and scope. There's no reason they shouldn't be getting the maximum points on this by using that. So please don't forget that is there, and use it, please. Goodness, use it. And if you have any Ag Science Fair questions, Mr. Draper is the Ag Science Fair king. I know nothing about it, so I cannot help you. But I'll ask your questions to Mr. Draper if I can help you. Another report that's due. Sorry. Another report that's due is March 20th. That's the sub-area report. I think we've almost got them all. And so the reason why we need those in is because once we get those, we can start getting district LDEs ready with who's in what heats, and Mr. E can kind of have that weight off his shoulders. The best thing that's happening next week is on the 9th, if you're an affiliated or a Foundation Plus chapter, you have dibs on state convention and housing. It opens up next week on the 9th. And then if you're not one of those two, on March 11th, you have the ability to register during that time. So we're excited. We're hoping that, our numbers are really good this year. I'm personally going for a record. I would love to, oh, bless these people's hearts. I'm so sorry. Okay. But I would love for us to have a record for convention. I think that would be phenomenal. And then, of course, our other deadlines. We have so many deadlines this month. The other thing is this week, so the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, registrations are going to start closing for district CDEs in the order that they opened. So tomorrow is Southern District's CDE closure. Wednesday is Eastern, and Thursday is Northwest District. So you need to get that done, because if you don't, I'm sorry, you won't be competing at the district level. And remember that you can still register for state CDEs until the 20th, and that's when that will be closed as well. And I will say we've had a lot of good numbers on that so far already. So if you're planning on registering for a state event because your district team didn't make it, probably be mindful, because those are going to be filling up really quick. So At this time, I'm going to ask Miss Jennifer. Well, where'd she go? Oh no, she's not on here anymore. Well, okay, Mr. Krangle, will you give us an alumni update and kind of talk about, I know that y'all have an alumni meeting this month, so can you kind of tell us about that and anything we need to know?
Yes, ma'am. So we missed you last month, but I just wanted to let everybody know that we had our alumni state convention back in January up at U of A. It was really good. We got Tour Tyson amongst other things. They did really good for us. We do have some new officers for this year. Oh, crap. My battery's going dead. I'm still president. Will Clark is our vice president now this year. Monica Griffin is now our treasurer. And then Kayla Skelton at Emerson is still our secretary. So if anybody has anything, they gladly get with one of us if they have any questions about, or Mr. Draper, about how to start a chapter, or get anything going, or if they're having issues with anything like that, they can contact any one of us. Just at our alumni contest, that's our big fundraiser that allows us to do the WLC scholarships. We'll be working on getting all that put together. Our goal this year is to try to have WLC scholarships ready, checks in hand for those chapters that have alumni chapters and are sending kids. We have both those lists now. We'll try to have checks at the alumni booth at State FFA Convention. And that way you're not having teachers are not having to wait on their money. They can have it to help send money with kids to WLC or whatever they need that way, and they're not waiting until the next school year to get those things set up. We do have a meeting. Our quarterly meeting is next Wednesday, scheduled for next Wednesday. We do that through Zoom as well. Those quarterly meetings count towards WLC point system for how you get that money to send kids to WLC. The more involved you are at a alumni level, whether you have representation at one of those meetings, that counts. Working I guess that'll actually be our last deal to go towards WLC points for this go round. State convention always starts our WLC points. So working the State FFA convention booth and helping promote alumni to the kids, officers or teachers and things like that, that actually is what kicks off the points for next year's WLC scholarships. So if you didn't get in the boat this year, or you didn't feel like you got enough money, that's all based off the involvement. So State FFA convention is a great way to help work a 2-hour rotation shift, and you get so many points. All that can be found on the State FFA webpage under alumni. We have links and items on how to start a chapter, things you need to kind of have in line, how to get 501(c)(3) status through alumni, and then we even have posted how we calculate our WLC point system. So you get points for bringing kids to our contest and that, and we want to thank everybody for that. We had over 1,200 kids registered for our contest. Great turnout. If you have any feedback on that, email me or whatever things. We're always trying to improve and do better, of course. Anything we need to work on, anybody can reach out, let one of us know while it's fresh on their mind, something we need to do better. But we'll have our meeting at camp next Wednesday, and I'll send an email out, or Mr. Draper will send an email out this week about time exactly, and we'll send the Zoom link out and everything too. One more thing I'd like to encourage is I speak a lot with Miss Jennifer Cook and everything she's doing, and we feel like that's a huge connection we can be making on all sorts of different levels is alumni being supportive of everything she's accomplishing for Arkansas FFA and helping make those relations and trying to develop corporate alumni chapters and things like that as well, and just making that bond and connection and closing the gap to make Arkansas FFA better, so, and the alumni better. So,
well, Mr. Kringle, I know that you're very busy throughout your days, and I know that like you give alumni the time that it deserves and needs, and so I appreciate, and I know a lot of teachers appreciate what you and your officers are doing to make sure that our students are able to have these opportunities to offset cost and to have these scholarships. So thank you for what you're doing. We appreciate it.
yes, ma'am.
At this time, Ms. Nina Crutchfield, will you give us a update from the National FFA?
I sure can. So you said you guys have a lot of deadlines. We do too. So let's just pile them on, I suppose.
Yay.
Any of the teachers who are interested in signing up to be one of our National FFA ambassadors, that application closes tomorrow. So we need to
I was gonna say, it's the best experience of your life. Awesome swag, awesome travel opportunities. You get to speak to teachers from all across the nation. Like, if you haven't done it and you're thinking about doing it, please do it. Let me talk you through the process. Like, I loved it. Sorry.
It's not that hard. It's an easy application.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nobody should be, you get a trip to sunny Indianapolis out of it. So, yeah, not a huge fan of Indianapolis, but the FFA Center is pretty cool. Just wanted to highlight, if you haven't seen it yet, a couple of magazines. I know my camera's backwards, but surely you all can recognize the New Horizons magazine and all the Arkansas kids that are on the cover from Clarksville. So I'm really excited about this because it was a little long in coming, but it sure has timed out nicely. And then Miss Libby Sanderson is also featured in the Ag Ed magazine this last issue. This is the last printed one, by the way. It will be completely delivered online going forward. So get your last copy of that for all you history buffs out there. And if you haven't heard the change in the New Horizons, we're going to 3 issues a year in 2020. So this is the first one, and they'll get 2 more. And then after that, come 2021, it will be 2 issues in the year. So there'll be one right before school starts, and then there'll be one in January for FFA week. In addition to that, the FFA catalog will be in the magazine going forward. So don't throw those away. We've kind of combined the 2 to reduce our printing costs, and the fact that most people aren't doing paper magazines anymore, they're getting them all online, is allowing us to go increase the amount of content in our online delivery of New Horizons. So if you haven't checked that out, in addition to the paper copy, I mean, there's really a great video about the Clarksville program that's on the electronic New Horizons magazine. So check those out. Really excited to be featuring our Arkansas teacher and students. In addition, we're uploading new SAE videos. So I know teachers love those videos of students doing their SAE, just the regular kids, to help inspire their own. So we've got a whole new series from Tennessee students. So check those out. Talking about alumni, our grant application is due today. So for National Alumni Grants, the money can be used to start an alumni. It can be to partner with the student chapter on a project. It can actually be used, there's one to pay affiliation fees. So anywhere from $500 to $5,000, depending on which one of those you apply for. You can access those at ffa.org/alumni grants. Again, that's due today. There's 3 times a year that you can apply, and so this is for the spring one. So if you haven't checked those out, again, not horrible applications, pretty simple online to complete. You could get it done by the deadline today if you haven't even started. Living to Serve Chapter Challenge, just to remind you of that, trying to get chapters to log their service hours. Our team at the building is really trying to increase visibility of chapters doing service. And so this is one way, if you log those hours, they can connect with you and feature your chapter doing some really cool things around the country. TSC, we sold the emblems last week during FFA week. So now the application to get those funds is now open. It opened today and it's open until May 1st. I would encourage you not to wait till May 1st to fill that out. In case there's some snags with budgets or whatever. But all of that money that was raised at the TSC stores here in Arkansas stays in Arkansas. You guys have to apply for it. You won't get it if you don't fill out the application. It's not, again, not a hard one. You just tell them what you're going to be doing, what your budget is. I will give you a tip that the higher number of student contact hours that you can put in there, then the more community contact that's in there, and then the educational component needs to be in there. So if you hit those 3 key pieces, you're really in the running for getting the funds. It is competitive. If only one chapter in Arkansas signs up, they're guaranteed to probably get a good chunk of change. But if 100 apply, then of course, you know, TSC will go through and make the decision on who gets how much. Culver's SA is open. So that contest they've been running for about 5 years now, $7,500 to the students chapter that wins the essay. And that money is used to get the chapter to national convention. So that will help cover a nice chunk of change there as well. I believe the topic, the students are asked to write about the women in agriculture who inspired them. So that's a pretty cool topic. I think very timely with the 50th anniversary of women being admitted to FFA, and a lot of other media things that are going on with women in ag. So hopefully your students, and you've got a good writer, get them to submit an essay. There's no, you again, can't win if they don't submit. It's due April 20th. They can find details at culvers.com/essay contest. And the last item, money item I want to share, the America's Farmers Grow Rural Education. I have to say it slow to make sure I get it right. Sponsored by the Bear Fund, is accepting nominations from farmers until April 1st for, they're nominating their school district to receive or to be able to compete in a $15,000 grant to enhance STEM curriculum. So the farmer has to nominate the school, and you specifically as the ag teacher, and then you are eligible to fill out the competitive grant for $15,000. The farmer has to be over the age of 21, and they had to actively farm 250 acres or more of cropland to be able to submit the nomination. So they can get to that nomination at americasfarmers.com/rural-rural, I'm sorry, let me start over. americanfarmers.com/grow-rural-education. So that's where that's at. Grants are awarded on merit, need, and community support. So those are the 3 things you got to hit in the application when you're filling it out. But you got to get a farmer to nominate your school district first. Then you can go and fill it out. If you've got someone on staff who writes grants, get with them. Make sure when that, you know, if they're writing that grant, they're targeting the ag department for the STEM curriculum and materials that you can purchase. Again, $15,000, probably wouldn't need it all in the ag program, but you know, got to work your network in order to get included in things. So that's kind of where I'm at on an update for this month. Thanks for including me, Sunny. Appreciate it.
Always. Thank you so much. I appreciate that you are always giving us what we want, which is more money. So thank you for providing us with those opportunities and telling us. And if you don't mind, Ms. Nana, could you send after this an email with all of those links in it for
I sure can.
The Bear Fund and all, so that way our teachers can have that. I've had some questions and I'm like, I don't have the links, but that would be awesome. Thank you. I appreciate, seriously, like this may get into a think fest, but thank you so much for always helping us and making sure that we're on the same page as nationals, because sometimes I think that we can miss a few things. So thank you for reiterating for us. And it sounds a little different coming from you sometimes, I think. So thank you for your work. Miss Jennifer, are you there?
Yes, finally. I'm sorry. I've had
I don't think this is what Miss Jennifer, you're a robot.
You know.
Miss Jennifer.
Nature of the beast. What's the matter?
Miss Jennifer?
Yes.
Oh, marvelous. You sounded like a robot. We're good now.
I don't know what happened.
Me either. But please give us an update. We'd love to hear from you.
Well, if this works, we have had some Wi-Fi issues in Worcester today, so we'll see what happens. So Give FFA Day was a huge success. I can't thank everybody enough for everything that y'all have done to kick in and make that a huge success. But I really feel like this is a drop in the bucket compared to what we can do in the future. So I'm working on with John like the Foundation Plus totals that we can add on to individual chapter contributions towards those goals. And so, that's just a great reminder to let your community members do this for you instead of you feeling like you have to directly take funds out of your own FFA chapter. Ask your community to get behind you with the Corduroy Club and just designate your chapter so that you get credit for that. And it's like money that you didn't really see that can go towards helping fund bigger things. Secondly, I would just say that obviously CDE season is upon us. I know my child is missing 3 days of school this week. I'm the only one that seems to be worried about that and his algebra teacher, but that's another story. And I would just say if you have industry or representatives from, commodity groups or whatever that you think might benefit from getting to see what goes on at some of our CDE events, particularly if it pertains to their area of interest, let's see if we can't make some of these connections happen. And maybe we can collaborate on inviting them to the CDE event and kind of just giving them a sneak peek on some of the talent that we can provide them if they want to partner with us more so. And along those lines, the same invitation could be true for state convention. Let's collaborate on how can we get some eyes opened for what we're doing. I mean, a lot of times if they know a little bit better about what we've got going on, they're a lot more willing to support. And I mean, everyone that I've talked to, they're impressed with our kids, that we just need to make them more visible so that they're willing to hand over the money. And then lastly, just as you're entering banquet season and auctions and all of that, I have all kinds of materials that I can share with you. I can maybe even have a development council member come if that's something that would be helpful. But I have just lots of printed materials regarding like a Corduroy Club capital campaign where we've got naming rights available on rooms. And so just let me know what I can do to help. And that's about it. Always I'm, open for ideas and suggestions. So just let me know. I'm working on contacting all of our donors and saying thank you right now from Give Day. So I've been busy with that all day today so far. But anyhow, thanks everybody.
Thank you, Ms. Jennifer. We appreciate all that you're doing. I know that none of us probably expected what we did on Give Day, so we're very thankful for all the effort that you put into it and how you continuously put opportunities for our students to get into the industry and how you perform and everything that you do. So we appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. At this time, does anyone have any announcements? I know Mr. Backus seemed to think that he could tell y'all that you could hijack my Zoom meeting at any time. So if you have an announcement as far as, and not a weird one, but I mean, if you have something from your chapter that's happening you want to say, if not, I'll give like 1 minute for the awkwardness to sit. Okay, perfect. Well, if you don't have any announcements, I'm going to go ahead and let you enjoy the last 10 minutes roughly of your lunch break. And I appreciate you for tuning in, and I hope that you all have a great day. And as always, if you need anything, just call our office. We're always here. Goodbye.